Hello, listeners, and welcome back to our channel. I'm T Storyteller. I hope that all of you are doing great and all of you are eager to learn something new. That's why today I am here with our new story, Aladdin Part 3. We have already read Part 1 and 2 in our previous video. So now let's start with our Part 3. But before this, if you like my voice or like this story, so please do subscribe to our channel. So now let's move towards it. This action of the magician plainly revealed to Aladdin that he was no uncle of his, but one who designed him evil. The truth was that he had learned from his magic books the secret and the value of this wonderful lamp, the owner of which would be made richer than any earthly ruler, and hence his journey to China. His heart had also told him that he was not permitted to take it himself, but must receive it as a voluntary gift from the hands of other person. Hence, he employed young Aladdin and hoped by a mixture of kindness and authority to make him obedient to his word and will. When he found that his attempt had failed, he set out to return to Africa, but avoided the town, lest any person who had seen him live in company with Aladdin should make inquiries after the youth. Aladdin, being suddenly enveloped in darkness, cried and called out to his uncle to tell him he was ready to give him the lamp, but in vain, since his cries could not be heard. He descended to the bottom of the steps with a design to get into the palace, but the door, which was opened before by enchantment, was now shut by the same means. He then redoubled his cries and tears, sat down on the steps without any hopes of ever seeing light again, and in an exception of passing from the present darkness to a speedy death. In his great emergency, he said, "There is no strength or power but in the great and high God." And in joining his hands to pray, he rubbed the ring which the magician had put on his finger. Immediately, a genie of frightful aspect appeared and said, "What wouldst do you have? I am ready to obey thee. I serve him who possessed the ring on the finger, I and the other slaves of that ring." At another time, Aladdin would have been frightened at the sight of so extraordinary a figure, but the danger he was in made him answer without hesitation, "Whoever though you are, deliver me from this place." He had no sooner spoken these words than he found himself on the very spot where the magician had last left him, and no sign of cave or opening nor disturbance of the earth. Returning thanks to God for being once more in the world, he made the best of his way home. When he got within his mother's door, joy at seeing her and weakness for want of sustenance made him so faint that he remained for a long time as dead. As soon as he recovered, he related to his mother all that had happened to him, and they were both very vehement in their complaints of the cruel magician. Aladdin slept very soundly till late the morning, when the first thing he said to his mother was that he wanted something to eat and wished she would give him his breakfast. Else, child, said she, I have not a bit of bread to give you. You ate up all the provisions I had in the house yesterday, but I have a little cotton which I have spun. I will go and sell it and buy bread and something for our dinner. Mother, replied Aladdin, keep your cotton for another time and give me the lamp I brought home with me yesterday. I will go and sell it, and the money I shall get for it will serve both for breakfast and dinner, and perhaps supper too. Aladdin's mother took the lamp and said to her son, here it is, but it is very dirty. If it were a little cleaner, I believe it would bring something more. She took some fine sand and water to clean it, but she had no sooner begun to rub it than in an instant a hideous genie of gigantic size appeared before her and said to her in a voice of thunder, what wouldst thou you have? I am ready to obey thee as thy slave, and the slave of all those who have that lamp in their hands, I and the other slaves of the lamp. Aladdin's mother, terrified at the sight of the genie, fainted. When Aladdin, who had seen such a phantom in the cave, snatched the lamp out of his mother's hand and said to the genie boldly, I am hungry, bring me something to eat. The genie disappeared immediately and in an instant returned with a large silver tray holding 12 covered dishes of the same metal, which contained the most delicious viands, 6 large white bread cakes on 2 plates, 2 flagons of wine, and 2 silver cups. All these he placed upon a carpet and disappeared. This was done before Aladdin's mother recovered from her swoon. Aladdin had fetched some water and sprinkled it in her face to recover her. Whether that or the smell of meat effected her cure. It was not long before she came to herself. Mother, said Aladdin, be not afraid, get up and eat. Here is what will put you in heart and at the same time satisfy my extreme hunger. His mother was much surprised to see the great tray, 12 dishes, 6 loaves, the 2 flagons and cups, and to smell the savory odor which exhaled from the dishes. Child, said she, to whom are we obliged for this great plenty and liberality? Has the Sultan been made acquainted with our poverty and had compassion on us? It is no matter, mother, said Aladdin. Let us sit down and eat, for you have almost as much need of a good breakfast as I myself. When we have done, I will tell you. Accordingly, both mother and son sat down and ate with a better relish as the table was so well furnished. But all the time Aladdin's mother could not forbear looking at and admiring the tray and dishes, though she could not judge whether they were silver or any other metal, and the novelty more than the value attracted her attention. The mother and son sat at breakfast till it was dinner time, and then they thought it would be best to put the two meals together. Yet, after this, they found they should have enough left for supper and two meals for the next day. When Aladdin's mother had taken away and set by what was left, she went and sat down by her son on the sofa, saying, I expect now that you will satisfy my impatience and tell me exactly what passed between the genie and you while I was in a swoon. He readily complied with her request. She was in as great amazement at what her son told her as at the appearance of the genie, and said to him, But son, what have we to do with genies? I never heard that any of my acquaintance had ever seen one. How came that while genie to address himself to me and not to you, to whom he had appeared before in the cave? Mother, answered Aladdin, the genie you saw is not the one who appeared to me. If you remember, he that I first saw called himself the slave of the ring on my finger, and this you saw called himself the slave of the lamp you had in your hand. But I believe you did not hear him, for I think you fainted as soon as he began to speak. What? Cried the mother. Was your lamp then the occasion of that cursed genie's addressing himself to me rather than to you? Ah, my son, take it out of my sight and put it where you please. I had rather you would sell it than run the hazard of being frightened to death again by touching it. And if you would take my advice, you would part also with the ring and not have anything to do with genies, who, as our prophet has told us, are only devils. With your leave, mother, replied Aladdin, I shall now take care how I sell a lamp which may be so serviceable both to you and me that false and wicked magician would not have undertaken so long a journey to secure this wonderful lamp if he had not known its value to exceed that of gold and silver. And since we have honestly came by it, let us make a profitable use of it, without making any great show and exciting the envy and jealousy of our neighbors. However, since the genies frighten you so much, I will take it out of your sight and put it where I may find it when I want it. The ring I cannot resolve to part with, for without that you had never seen me again. And though I am alive now, perhaps if it were gone, I might not be so some moments hence. Therefore, I hope you will give me leave to keep it and to wear it always on my finger. Aladdin's mother replied that he might do what he pleased. For her part, she would have nothing to do with genies and never say anything more about them. Because this story is too long, so rest of the part of this story we will read in our next part 4. Till then, stay tuned with us. And I hope that all of you like this story. So please do like, share, subscribe and comment on our channel. Thanks for listening and wait for the next part.